Hello students, I am Dr. Shrikant Bavse, Assistant Professor at Department of Advanced Management Studies, GS College of Commerce, Varda. Today we are going to study one of the most admired pricing theory, one of the most influential pricing theory in modern finance, that is capital asset pricing model. There are different theories propounded by different eminent economists and financial analysts, but capital asset pricing model is considered as one of the most proven theory for pricing of capital asset. Today we will see that how capital asset pricing model states the exact, we cannot say, but estimated value of or the price of an asset. Basically, the capital asset pricing model is designed, originated with the work of two eminent economists, that is Harry Markowitz and William Sharpe. Both these economists propounded their theories which contributed for the capital asset pricing model, and they have got the Nobel Prize of Economics for their great contribution to the modern finance. Now, what is the relationship between risk and return for efficient portfolio? This is the question which comes in mind for every stock market and bond market investor, that if they are investing into certain securities and making a portfolio, if their portfolio is efficient, that how much return they can expect through that portfolio, how much risk they are bearing, and how much return they will get. This is the first question. The second question is, what is the relationship between risk and return for an individual security? Risk and return both are very important and goes parallel with respect to majority of the times and instruments. We have seen many a times that high risk is equal to high return, low risk is equal to low return. But sometimes it also happens that this profound quote is also misleading in some instrument. We see that even by taking higher risk, you do not get higher return, or even by reducing risk, you get good return. So it totally depends on time, on particular security, and on the complete scenario of the market. But these are the two questions which are answered by the capital asset pricing model considerably. We cannot say that both these questions are completely answered by capital asset pricing model, but they are considerably addressed by the capital asset pricing model by using a quantitative approach to the risk and return. This capital asset pricing model, popularly known as CAPM, is useful for evaluating various investments. There are thousands of stocks in the stock market. Now, in which stock we should invest? Where will be higher return? Where will be risk is low? All these things will be evaluated by using the capital asset pricing model. Here we set a kind of benchmark and the analysts try to compare the particular stock or an individual security with the market portfolio and get the answer that how much risk is associated and how much return we can expect. So it is very useful for evaluating various investments. Next, this is most important statement, that is making informed guess. I am repeating again that we cannot assure that the capital asset pricing model will give you exact idea, but we can say that it can give you informed guess. The word is guess. It is not 100% that this will be risk and this will be return, but most of the time this capital asset pricing model have evaluated the risk and return appropriately. So you can guess that how much return the individual security will yield you by taking this much amount of risk, or how much return you can expect on your portfolio by taking this much amount of risk. So there are some most important basic assumptions of capital asset pricing model, which we will see one by one. The first basic assumption is individuals are risk averse. We have also seen in the crowd that majority of the people do not tend to invest into the stock market. Why? The reason being that they are risk averse. They do not want to take any kind of risk. Whereas there are only few people which are willing to take risk and go into the stock market investing. In that also there will be many people which will buy only the assets which are very less risky, or the risk associated with them is very less. So the first assumption is individuals are risk averse. They want more return with less risk. They do not want to take great risk. The second basic assumption is individuals seek to maximize expected utility of their portfolio over a single period planning horizon. Each and every investor want great returns on his or her portfolio. They will used to say that within a year I want this much return, within couple of years I want this much return, within 3 to 4 years my portfolio should get 2x or 3x, something like that. So whenever individuals are creating a portfolio, they want handsome returns over that portfolio. Here also comes the concept of greed and fear. They are having fear and they are also having greed, because when they are constructing portfolio, they are not willing to take great risk because they are risk averse, but after constructing portfolio they want exponential returns on their invested amount. Then the third basic assumption is individuals have homogeneous expectations. They have identical subjective expectations, that all the individuals will be having homogeneous expectations about, we can say, variance, covariance, standard deviation, and when they are taking risk, they will be expecting that when all these things are same, our return should also be the same. But practically it is not possible. The next basic assumption is individual can borrow or lend freely at riskless rate of interest. Any individual can borrow amount from anywhere, and they can also lend to any institution. Just for sake of simplicity, when individual is borrowing from bank, it will get money. Individuals can also deposit their money in the banks and can get riskless returns. The returns will be risk free because they are investing into bank. If it is government bank, then the risk of default is extremely low, or we can say negligible. Here, individuals can borrow or lend freely at riskless rate of interest. There is no need to take risk when you are getting riskless return by investing into banks, FDs. But there will be very low return which that bank FDs will yield. Then the fifth assumption is the market is perfect. How the market is perfect? There will be no taxes. In the CAPM, capital asset pricing model, there is no consideration of taxes. So CAPM says that the market is perfect and there is no taxes. All the calculations of CAPM will be without consideration of tax. No transaction cost. Whenever you are trading into the stock markets, you will have to pay brokerage to the broker. You will have to pay security transaction tax. You will have to pay the state GST as well as central GST. You will have to pay speculative gain tax. You will have to pay capital gain tax. But in the capital asset pricing model, there is no consideration of any taxes or no consideration of any kind of transaction cost, which are very much high. They are also considerable, but they are not considered in the CAPM, which we can say is one of the biggest drawback of CAPM. Next, securities are completely divisible. That is, if today the face value of security is 10 rupees, if it is split in 1:2 ratio, the face value will become 5. If the stock is of 10,000 rupees, if it is being given bonus 1:1, then that stock will become 5,000 rupees each. So these securities are completely divisible. You can buy securities in multiple of 1, like you can buy 1 security, 2 security, 3 security, 10 securities, 20, 50, 100, 1000, lakhs, anything. So these securities are completely divisible. Then the market is competitive. Remember, the brightest brains works in the stock markets. Your competition is not with the yourself only, but with the market. There will be buyers as well as sellers, which will be competing with each other. So the market is very competitive. If there are buyer, there will be seller. If there are seller, there will be buyer. There will be bulls and there will be bears. Bulls will try to push up the market and bears will try to pull down the market. So the market is very competitive. The quantity of risky securities in the market is given. Most of the experienced investor knows that which securities are risky and which securities are not. Investors which are having good knowledge try to keep themselves away from the risky securities. They know the difference between interest rate sensitives and non-interest rate sensitives. Then it is very much visible that CAPM look like unrealistic, but the empirical studies suggest some merit in CAPM. You cannot completely rely on CAPM for construction of your portfolio with respect to risk and return. But there are empirical evidences which suggest that CAPM is having some kind of merit. Now, how to calculate the risk and return on the basis of CAPM? For that, there is a formula. ERI is equal to RF plus beta I in bracket E in bracket RL minus RF bracket complete. Now, for this formula, we require some inputs. There are three major inputs. First one is the risk-free rate, that how much risk-free return is treasury offering. For example, how much risk-free return is on the government bonds of RBI. Then market risk premium, that how much risk premium you are paying for buying the particular security. And then beta, which we have already, all these three things we have already studied in the earlier videos. Now, by using three inputs, you can put them in this formula. Now, what is ERI? It is expected return on individual security is equal to risk-free return. R means R, F means free. Risk-free returns plus beta of individual security. I for individual, beta of individual security. Then expected return on market portfolio. M means market minus risk-free return. If you will put the numbers in this simple formula, you will be able to calculate the complete pricing of capital asset. So, this is the complete capital asset pricing model. Thank you.